Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. Got myself Dakota. Got Mr. Michael Rodriguez joining us. How are we doing, Mike?
So what's up? How's it going, man? Doing good. How about
I
yourself?
think this is your first time this season on like game week episode.
I think so.
Yeah. I know last year we had you on like a couple times. Um, but I appreciate you stepping in for Tim. He is traveling because of holiday stuff. And
Cool.
no one wants to just listen to me speak. So we got to get some, it's got to get some banner, you know. So, but happy to
I
have
respect
you.
it.
Um,
Thanks, man. Always happy to hop on here, and fill in for Tim or just be a guest. And I love
yeah,
talking birds. I
absolutely.
love talking ball,
So
especially with you
wait, quick
guys.
question. So what is being that you live in the DMV area? What is the vibes of the Eagles down there? Because Washington's obviously been good, and we play
Yeah.
Washington this weekend. But are people like, are people saying shit about the Eagles? Is there a lot of Eagles fans down there? Like, what's
There are a lot of Eagles fans here. Shout out to the Eagles fans in the DMV. I walk around with my shit on,
mm,
no problem. No one ever says anything to me. That might just be because of the way that I look. But my wife also walks around with Eagle stuff and she doesn't seem to get any kind of like, negative feedback like she would if she were in Philly wearing like a division rival jersey, I'm sure.
nice?
You'd see that more in Philly than you do here. People here are pretty friendly, and there's a lot more Eagles fans than you would think. Everywhere I go, I see people wearing Eagles stuff. I get to go birds here and there, especially in DC. A lot of Eagles fans in DC. There's actually a cool Eagles bar I love to go to in DC called Boundary Stone, I think it is, where I watched the Chiefs game last year,
Oh,
where we
nice.
pulled out that win in Arrowhead. Epic. You would have thought that you were in Xfinity Live. It's awesome. So yeah, shout out to the Eagles fans in the DMV, man. It's great.
Yeah, that's cool. It's Eagle. I mean, Eagles fans travel well, and they carry the fandom wherever they go. Because I remember when I lived in Colorado a couple years ago for the summer, I wore like an Eagles hat, and it was backwards, so all you could see was a logo from like behind. And I
Yeah.
was checking out at like Target or a grocery store or something, and somebody walked past me that said, "Fly Eagles fly," and I was like, "I'm in fucking Colorado." Like
Yeah.
what? Like
But everywhere, man. They're
it's
everywhere.
yeah, birds fans are everywhere, man. It's great,
It's
but.
awesome.
Speaking of the birds, another great win. Another dominant win. We have honestly, what's crazy is the team that played the Eagles the most well,
The
the
best.
best
There you go.
in the AFC North was the Browns. Would you have predicted that at the start of the
No,
season?
not
But
at all.
but we swept them, swept all four teams, which is insane. I couldn't have asked for anything better than that. So
Yeah, we own the AFC. I believe Jalen Hurts is 14-1 against the AFC in the regular season.
really.
Yeah,
That
he's
sounds like this is like the Lamar 20 what's Lamar like 24-2 or something.
he's 24-2 now. And one
Yeah,
of those
Eagles and
losses is
Giants.
to Jalen. The other one is to Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes. Crazy
Crazy, who
world.
now has a new home in Minnesota.
Yeah, but yeah, so Eagles beat the Steelers 27-13. It was what was it? Let's see. Halftime, it was 10 to 7 or 13-17.
Yeah.
And actually Steelers I think were up let's see. They were up 13-10, I believe. And then Eagles came back, scored a touchdown right before half. Um, but Jalen, you know what's funny is I would have liked if he had thrown like 300 some yards, but but for him to come out and be like, "Is that what y'all wanted?" and he only threw like 290 yards, I'm like, "All right, calm down, Jalen." But but he was efficient in that. For first half, he looked phenomenal.
He did.
He was getting the ball out quick, which is like something that we've been preaching all season. Like, get your reads out, get it quick. And then third quarter, he was trying to do too much. He was running the sideline and trying to, extend the play as long as possible. I still would like to get those down to like one or two times he does that a game, but we're winning, so I can't be too critical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're winning games, and I think back to last year, we were saying the same thing, like, hey, when we were 10-1, it's like
Yeah,
Eagles, they're winning. We're complaining so much about this team. We're spoiled. but you could see that there were things that were wrong with the team, things that were going to get exposed, specifically with the defense. And it just doesn't feel like that this year. It feels different. Besides some of the drama that was, blown up by the media behind closed doors, the team just looks really good, especially on defense. But Jalen had a good day. I would have liked to see for the way that he was, that he approached the
Yeah, I was
the
like
press,
throw for like
like you said.
360 and like three tutties, and then you can like
Yeah.
showboat. But
It was
292
is
touchdowns, whatever.
yeah, 292 touchdowns, over 100 receiving yards though for both Smitty and AJ. So good
Yeah.
days for them. You
Yep.
could tell that he was trying to get AJ specifically the ball too. Going back to the slants are unstoppable. Joey Porter Jr. got big boyed. He's over here saying that, AJ was pushing off of him a lot and they weren't calling that.
Oh, wah wah wah.
He just has to get his weight up. He that's not the only AJ's not the only receiver that's going to get physical. You're going to see that a lot, buddy, especially in conference. And it was just funny. I'm like, literally everybody does that, but AJ had a huge day. And when they got that first touchdown and they did their little celebration, I'm just like, man, this could be a movie.
Yep.
The way that this is like, it's almost as if it was scripted. It's like, hey guys, look at us, we're fine. Now shut the fuck
Yeah.
up
They
and let
were,
us play
yeah.
ball.
It got so overblown to begin with because all the reporter asked was something like what can be improved on the offense or something, or like what is the like weakness of this team. He's like, oh, we just could be like better with passing. And then like, oh my God, AJ Brown's not getting the ball enough. He's a diva. I was like, what,
And he's just like passing. The passing game was ass. I mean, you almost lost to the Panthers. And there's a lot of reasons for that. You can say that it was a trap game and you just kind of wanted to stick to the run game and then not lean on the pass if you didn't need to. But when you look at the film and there's so much that Jalen is leaving on the field and he's holding onto the ball way too long, which he still did during the
yeah.
Steelers game, that can cause those costly, negative yardage plays. Yeah, I would love to see him clean that up a little bit more, but definitely encouraging signs from the passing game um, against the Steelers.
Yeah, and I liked that um they did it without, running Saquon. Well, I mean, he still had 19 carries, but he only
Yeah.
had 65 yards. So they were pretty much shutting him down. And
They were, yeah, the
so,
D-line's vicious.
so they still, I mean, Jalen is still running a way more than I want him to, 15 carries for 45 yards, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he sees the opening, he sees that he's going to take it every time, it seems like, which
Yeah,
scares me because we need him healthy,
we do.
especially with the stretch coming up now that you never want to root for injuries and hope everybody on the Lions team is doing well and recovering on track here, but the Lions are just being decimated by injuries and especially on the defensive side. And now some on offense too. They have a real chance of stealing a win here. And if they win out and the Lions happen to lose, just one of these games and the Eagles win out, we could really get the 1 seed, which would be huge. Because I
Yeah.
think that if the Lions have to come to Philly, come to the link at any point, the Eagles will definitely be favored in that game.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't say that I would feel the same way if the Eagles had to go to Detroit
I agree.
and play in that dome.
I agree. I'm curious actually because I feel like I don't know if Tim and I looked at the Lions schedule. So they end the season against the Vikings. That could very well be for their division.
Yeah,
Week
I anticipate it.
17, they play the Niners, who will be fighting for the wild card, possibly still. And then
I think they're done.
this week they play the Bears. Bears are toast.
Yeah, barbecue
Um,
chicken.
I can't believe the Bears have lost 8 straight games since the Hail Mary. That's
We'll,
actually
we'll, we'll talk.
criminal.
We'll talk about the Bears.
Actually
Don't worry,
criminal.
I got something in store for them.
But yeah, so Eagles, I mean, offense did what they had to do. I mean, it's crazy because the defense came up big in the first half. We had two really bad fumbles that could have changed the whole game. And then defense limited those two turnovers to only 3 points, which is huge.
Yeah,
Russ had like 120 passing yards. He didn't do shit all day. Najee
yeah,
Harris didn't really get going. Warren had a couple big runs here and there, but nothing really. But
yeah.
they shut him down. I mean, I think if George Pickens played, they might have had, more opportunities on offense, but.
I kind of expected that to be the case. No George Pickens. your only deep threat is really Mike Williams, and I mean he's not even really that great
I don't think I
to
noticed
begin
him.
with. He didn't do anything in this game whatsoever.
No.
So I expected the Eagles to really shut down that passing game. I figured that they were going to try to make something happen with the run, and then after that Najee fumble, the game kind of got away. It was starting to get away from them a little bit. They had to rely more on the passing game, and Russ. He's just, he's not great. Tomlin is a great coach.
Yeah,
I resent any Steelers fan that says that Tomlin should be fired, because he's awesome. Hasn't had a losing season ever.
which is crazy.
I know that his usually the Steelers are just mediocre or just good enough to make it to the playoffs and like squeeze by and get a wild card.
Yeah.
This year, they might win the division. We'll see how things shake out with Baltimore. But that team is just never defensively, they're always awesome, but offense, they just have not been able to make it click. And we saw that on display with George Pickens out. Once you take him out of the picture, that passing game is non-existent.
Yeah, but like I said, defense played great. It's actually astonishing like how fucking good they are. Um,
Those
so
boys, man, they got some dogs, man. Defense, we'll talk about them. I'll talk about them soon too.
but yeah. But yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me was Tomlin's decision to punt it I think they're on the 50-yard line. And then
A
Eagles
little bit
take,
past, yeah.
yeah, Eagles take it from the 3 and then had a penalty. So they basically on the 1-yard line, I think. And they
10
went
minutes and 27 seconds.
I think it was what, 99 yards and 10 minutes of possession, 21
Yeah.
plays. That's how you,
Yeah.
that's winning. That's
That's
how
a
you get it
winning
done.
team, man. That's awesome. I was just like, I'm like, I could understand, Mike Tomlin deciding to punt there because you anticipate getting the ball back. You got 10 minutes left, and your defensive front, is playing well enough to try to make a play, especially if you pin them deep. And they just completely shut them down.
I think,
Jalen was slinging it. He was decisive. He was quick,
yeah.
and they were converting left and right. And the
And they were
Steelers,
staying in bounds.
yeah,
Um, I think the Steelers are like if you put all their defensive stats together, they're in the top 5. So that's like
yeah,
that's a good defense. And
yeah,
I think that is a recipe for success, especially against high-powered teams like the Lions, like the Bills, who don't have great defenses, who you can, you know, really wear out. And like I said, even though our defense is playing well, I still don't want Josh Allen to touch the ball 40 times.
right.
So, um,
That's how the Commanders
it's
beat us in 2022. That first loss of the season. The recipe, that
yeah,
offense was so high powered, and we didn't see the ball. I think that the time of possession in the first half was like 6 minutes to like 25.
yeah. I think this is the last game where I'm like, all right, I need to see them prove it. Not prove it, but like be consistent. They need to beat Washington because the keys of the division are in their hands.
Yeah,
So if you really want this, if you are that team of destiny and that, the team that everyone looks like they're gelling and playing well, you got to take care of business. You got to take care of Washington because who was it? Brian Robinson said today or yesterday that they're the best. He's like, yeah, we're the better team. We just got to execute and do everything correctly and we'll beat them. I'm like, yeah,
right.
I'm sure.
Better team. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know about all that.
Yeah. I don't
But
think
yeah,
they're better in like any position group whatsoever.
yeah, I want to see how the defense does against another speedy quarterback. I mean, they held Lamar in check. Lamar's numbers were a little inflated because of that last drive he had, but I think they held him in check really well, forced him to throw some ugly balls. Um, and so I'm I'm feeling good about it. I think it'll be close just because it's
Yeah.
divisional, but I think they'll take care of business. So,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully, I would have loved to be able to go to that game.
it's in
Um,
DC, right?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
it's here in Maryland.
Mm.
But it's I don't know, those tickets are gonna be insane and this close to Christmas. I don't know if I could swing that, but I
Yeah.
would have loved to see that. And that stadium kind of sucks too. The last time we went, the tailgate was garbage, and
Oh, yeah.
that was the game where the railing fell on that fan, and
Oh,
the stadium
yeah.
was just coming undone. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that stadium is not great.
no, no. Yeah.
I think it's so funny too that they have their recycle bins have the Washington logo on them. It's like
Yeah.
I was like, I know you want it, it's there because like you're trying to mark that this is our property, but like you don't want your logo on a trash can.
No, no,
Never.
that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I remember the game you and I went to. Yeah, that was I think that was the game that they won to get into the wild card, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was the wild card winning it. That was the Avonte Maddox interception in the end zone game to seal
Ooh.
it against Taylor Heineke. And that was us punching our ticket into the playoffs.
Then we lost to
Um,
Brady, right?
we lost to Brady. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was terrible. But I
Yeah.
mean, that was kind of also expected, you know. I think it was Jalen's first full year as a starter.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you're right.
And yeah, it was just an ugly game, terrible game. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really want to see Tampa in the playoffs unless they have to come to Philly, which they
Uh
will.
yeah, they look good. Um,
The Baker, he's
they're
even without
cooking.
Chris Godwin, he looks really good, man. Good
I
for
think
him.
their defense is not what it used to be though. So I think we could because remember last year we beat the Bucks pretty handily, and then in the playoffs, obviously they took care of us. But
Yeah, but I mean, at
um,
that point, I feel like Kutztown could have beaten the Eagles at that point. They were just in full on collapse
hey man,
mode.
because that was in like the D2 title game. Let's put some respect on.
That's what I'm saying, man, because they could do
But
it.
yeah,
Uh,
no. I think the Birds looking great. I mean, phew, 10 straight wins is a franchise record. So Nick Sirianni currently has the longest win streak record in Eagles history. And there's a lot of great coaches that coach the Philadelphia Eagles. So,
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to ask yourself, what if Andy Reid had this team and the supporting cast? I mean, do you think that he might also have the same kind of record?
I
Are they
mean,
winning because of Nick, or are they winning despite of Nick?
I
In spite
I
of Nick?
I think I think um this is offensively for sure. I would say this is the most talented Eagles team I've ever watched. Um, defensively, they're super young.
Yeah,
This is not the most talented defense I've ever seen, but
no,
they're executing really well.
but
Andy,
offensively,
yeah, Andy Reid era. I mean, peak Andy Reid, you had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, LaShawn McCoy, Donovan McNabb. Um, you know, they didn't all play together for super long, but that core there could have fed families. Um, and if you know, the Jim Johnson defense with Lito Shepard, Sheldon Brown, Brian Dawkins, Jeremiah Curse, and Trotter, and so Trent Cole, like there's Andy Reid had some great teams. It's just anyone that's like, oh, the Eagles never should have gotten Reid. It was a mutual thing. He was here for like
yeah,
13 years. It
yeah,
just there was a lot of success, but it just was something wasn't clicking. And there's times when you just need change, and
yeah,
that's kind of what happens. So,
exactly. Yeah,
but no hard feeling. I
yeah.
mean,
No,
I still like. I know people, a lot of people hate the Chiefs, but like, I still root for Andy. So,
no, yeah. I mean, I always root for Andy, for sure. At this point, I guess I just kind of have fatigue with the Chiefs. Like I don't feel at all the way that I felt since I've been watching football about the Patriots and Tom Brady.
oh
Very
yeah,
hateable team, a team that's
I
very easy to hate,
I
specifically
always
because I hate, the state of Massachusetts and the city of Boston and New England.
I always think about that too. It's like whenever I see the Patriots, like wow, they used to be like one of the most fearsome teams. Like you never like thinking about going to like a team going to Foxborough in December when it's snowing and you have to face Tom Brady and that defense. I'm like, they were a different breed that team,
Yeah,
and
man.
it's changed. But
Yeah, now the team to beat is the Chiefs, and they're looking a little fluky. Every single game comes down to some type of BS call or
yeah,
BS play,
I
and
mean
they
they had a good win
win.
this week, but they
I
lost
mean, yeah.
Mahomes for a couple weeks possibly.
Who
So
do,
we'll
who
see.
did they go up against this week?
Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything to me. You go back, you look at like the Broncos loss, that last second field goal block. It's just insane.
Horseshit.
The overtime win against Tampa Bay because he got the once Mahomes gets the ball first in overtime, it's over. Don't even
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a
and
wrap.
then the Cincinnati game, the BS penalty at the end of the game to seal it. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is a team that has been winning. The variance has been in their favor all year. And that's why I feel confident in saying that I don't think that they're going to make it very deep into the playoffs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but I would love to just see a different team from the AFC represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I
I
always root for Andy, but I'd like someone different this year.
I don't know if I ever actually place it, but I know my bet preseason was Ravens Eagles. And I'd love to see that, but I'd also think Bills Eagles would feed families across America.
For
So,
sure.
that would be
Yeah.
a great game.
Bills,
Um,
Eagles, Bills, and I'm just saying this just as an objective perspective. Bills, Lions,
Bills
also,
Lions,
there's
yeah.
those fan bases in New Orleans that would be insane. But I do also take a second to, while I do hate watching the Chiefs over and over again dominate because it's like I would love to see someone else. I also realize that 10 years, 15 years down the road, we're gonna look back at this era and say, we got to see Mahomes
Yeah.
probably going to go down as the best quarterback to ever play the game by the time it's all said and done. Do, and perform at the highest level possible. And you're going to be able to say that you witnessed that.
Hmm.
So I do think that that's also kind of cool. But, I let's pray for someone else this year. I'm all done with the Chiefs.
Yeah, we shall see. I feel like this is finally the year that they'll probably get to the AFC Championship game, but they'll probably, maybe lose that one. We'll see. We'll
We'll
see.
see. We'll see.
But there were other games besides Eagles Steelers, of course. So Thursday we had the Rams beat the Niners 12-6. Um, yeah, that was a hideous game. I think it was raining. I think that's why the score was so bad. Um,
Yeah.
really, actually no, was it? Yeah, this game didn't affect me. I don't think fantasy wise. Oh no, I had Kyron Williams. So yeah, this game fucked me up. Um, so. But Juwan
Yeah.
Jennings, I know, didn't do nothing because they weren't able to throw the ball much. But
Yeah. I mean, it was raining. It's a divisional game, second time they're meeting this year.
yeah,
They know each other very well, McVay
yeah,
and
2-0,
Shanahan. So
2-0 against the
yeah,
Niners this year.
they got swept, man. Who would have thought?
No,
I wonder what that was. I wonder what the odds were for that for the Niners to miss the playoffs at the beginning of the season. Probably like plus 400 and up or something like that.
yeah, I mean, I love watching the Cowboys lose, but like I know that they're gonna choke when they get to the playoffs. But man, watching the 49ers lose is just and struggle is just so satisfying. Like
It's not even the fact that they're losing, it's the fact that they're completely collapsing. Like
and
they're
like players are
imploding.
just quitting on them because they get. I mean, to be fair, like it does suck for that player. Like you were asked to sub in for an injured player, and then he comes back, and then he has to go out because he's hurt again. And they're like, "Oh, you need to go back in." You're like, "No, fuck that." Like I get it, but you are part of a team. Like this is what you signed up for. You need to go out there and bust your ass, no matter what. Like it just it's very selfish.
It
I
is really
understand his
selfish,
mindset,
but
but yeah, it's
it's selfish by Campbell, but I mean, like he also has to understand that you're part of a team, and if you have any kind of aspirations to play in this league, that's not something that you could do because other teams are going to see that, and
I think they
he
just
I know he's suspended for three
three
games, I
games.
think,
Yeah,
but still, if I'm assuming he's not going to be a 49er for much longer,
no,
and then after
no.
that, who's going to want you in their locker room? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
It's
bad
tough.
apple.
Yeah,
But so that was that. And then Sunday, Commanders beat the Saints 20-19. Very close
man,
game.
I was watching that game at a bar with my wife. And I was watching the last play, and I knew that they weren't going to convert it, but I was like, man, how awesome would it be if the Saints just beat the Commanders now and basically just ended
Yeah.
all their hopes for this thing? That would have been a moral loss, like a really big blow, and we would have been able to really take advantage of that coming into Washington this week. But that was closer than it should have been.
Yeah. I remember they were up. They looked like the Commanders were taking care of it. And then all of a sudden I saw the score. I was like, oh, Saints have made it a game.
And Terry
But
McLaurin dropped like three balls that could have all been touchdowns. So
that's surprising.
that game could have been really, really out of reach for the Saints.
Yeah.
But he had some drops that are uncharacteristic of him.
They've been playing better, but they're still not where they were at the beginning of the year because I think a lot of defenses kind of figured Jaden out. But
It's the Cliff Kingsbury formula. Starts off great
started off
and
hot.
then
Yeah.
just falls apart because it's very predictable, very easy to
Yeah.
read. And you got the film. He's not very creative on offense.
No, but they were, but now they're, yeah, like I said, being found out.
Yeah.
Um, like we said, Chiefs took care of the Browns 21-7. Um,
James, oh God.
I also hate that this is now this. I saw this. I think it was NFL memes. They're like the NFL has the chance to write the funniest script of Eagles and Chiefs playing the Super Bowl, and Carson Wentz comes in for injured Pat Mahomes and wins a
Yeah.
ring against the Eagles.
Yeah, that'd be insane, honestly.
Oh
I don't think
God.
that I could handle emotionally losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. I can't. We can't do
Yeah,
that.
that would be.
I'd rather lose to anyone else, not the Chiefs.
I agree. But yeah. So we'll see how his. I don't know if they said it was a high ankle sprain or what it was, but he
He's
might.
been a full participant in practice both
Oh,
days,
really?
so he's
I
probably
guess
gonna play.
he's balling.
Yeah.
Um, Bengals beat the Titans 37-27. I want to double check here because I remember I kept getting highlights of this during the Eagles game or whatever. I think it was before the Eagles game, and there was so many turnovers.
Yeah, Will Levis, man.
He's something.
I'll talk about him later,
Let's
but
see. So yeah, Mason Rudolph came in, threw an interception. Will Levis, this is incredible. He was 8 for 12.
yeah,
Um, let's see. So he missed four throws. Three of those four throws were interceptions.
yeah,
He had
man.
three interceptions
Mayo
at
boy.
89 yards. Oh, buddy.
He's tough to watch. I think his time in the NFL as a starter is done. Because it's the same problems that he had in Kentucky. There's often a lot of people, often a key player down the field, whether it's in the end zone or 20 yards out past the sticks that's wide open,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't see it. He just can't read.
But yeah, so Titans had four interceptions thrown, two fumbles lost. Bengals had two interceptions thrown, two fumbles lost. So there's a lot of a lot of
Yeah,
turnovers in this game, which
turnover mania.
also weird because like stat wise, um, it was pretty back and forth. Like passing yards, total yards, yards per play, time possession, penalties, total plays, sacks, first downs are all like the same. Like every stat is like they were even, and then
Yeah,
the Bengals just pulled it out. So
Bengals, man. It's a team that I feel for so much because I think Joe Burrow is playing
they can
out
still
of his
creep in.
mind,
They can still creep into the
and
playoffs.
their defense just sucks,
Oh,
man.
historically bad.
So many things have to go right for them. So many things have to go right for them to make the playoffs. They don't control their destiny at all. I think I forget who's in the hunt right now in the AFC, but some teams have to lose, um, and they have to win out, obviously, which they can do. But I don't think they're making the playoffs this year, unfortunately. I would have loved to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs. They'll go up against, you know, the top dogs, Lamar and Allen and Mahomes. Because anytime the Bengals are playing the Chiefs, anytime the Bengals or the Bills are playing the Chiefs, like I feel confident in betting against the Chiefs with those two teams because they just seem to be built to beat the Chiefs, you know?
Yeah, I mean, so they have 3 games left. It's gonna be tough because the Ravens and the Broncos already are at 9 wins.
Yeah.
Chargers have 8, and the Chargers are the 7th seed, 8-6, and the Bengals are 6-8. So they have to run the table and hope Chargers lose 2 games, or the Broncos lose out, or the Ravens lose out. So
Yeah, it's not happening,
it's gonna be tough.
unfortunately.
It's gonna be tough. They have a 7% chance if they win out. Not great. Not great.
It's over.
But yeah, so that is that game. Uh, then we had dun, da, 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 I lost it. Texans beat the Dolphins 20-12. Again, Dolphins also 6-8. Their playoff chances I think are 11%.
Ugly
So
game.
yeah,
Ugly game by Tua, man. Jesus,
yeah.
he
He
put on a
struggles
stinker.
against the good teams. Like Packers and Texans, he did not look great against. So
Yeah, he hasn't looked great. The team hasn't looked great all year since Tua got hurt with the concussion.
yeah,
And even since he came back, his numbers have been
they got
fine.
better, but yeah, they're
They got
still
better, but you can see that obviously Tua is. the mold, the keystone for that team to be successful. They need him because of what Mike McDaniel has built around Tua, but they just have not looked good. They've not been clicking, especially that connection with Tyreek. Tyreek has been, I think he's had a probably his worst season since I don't know when, honestly.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Texans are, and also the Texans are weird. Like Tim and I have talked about this before, but I don't think they're playing up to their level. I don't think they look that impressive. I mean, they only put up 20 points again, so we'll see
Yeah.
how they do in the playoffs. But
Yeah, I mean, people thought, Bobby Slowick was going to continue being, that cutting edge offensive coordinator in the NFL, next big name in offense, and it just hasn't really been the case this year.
yeah.
They haven't taken that step forward.
Next game we had the Ravens trampled the Giants 35-14.
Yeah.
Um, it was a blessing and a curse that I had Josh Allen on my fantasy team because I also played against him in another league. But I played against Lamar Jackson, who had like 30 some points because he had 5 touchdowns. But luckily, Josh Allen had more. But yeah,
Yeah.
Ravens just did whatever they wanted. So people keep joking that they were on a bye week. Tim Boyle was started for the Giants. I don't even know where he came from. Um,
Yeah. He
I'm
just he
glad
likes New York, I guess.
I'm glad I benched Tyrone Tracy because he had 10 carries for 31 yards.
Yeah.
Um,
That team
I
is
mean,
that team is
Neighbors is the
terrible.
one bright spot. 10 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. But
Yeah, he's nursing injuries. He's nursing two injuries right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even play on Sunday, honestly. It sucks because he's such a great talent at wide receiver. You could see that.
mhm.
But, now that the big question mark at QB, whether that's going to be Shador or Cam Ward next year, you got to get him something. You got to get him someone in there to really raise that ceiling for him because he's awesome.
Yeah,
Um, Him and Brian Thomas Jr. They
no,
were,
yeah, he's a
they're
beast.
awesome.
Yeah, and if I'm the Giants, I'm not winning another game. I'm losing on purpose if I have to, because like you're
Might as
tied with the
well.
Raiders at 2 wins. You want that number one pick.
Yeah,
And then you got Patriots, Panthers, Titans, Jaguars, and the Browns are all 3-11. So if you win a game and you have some kind of tiebreaker, you jump from like the first pick to like the eighth pick, which is not what you want. Um,
yeah. I think that
so
if Dable knows what's good for him, he'll lose those last
shit,
couple games.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's done if he gets canned after this year because he won Coach of the Year and then everything fell apart. So
Yeah, it's a shame. It's not. I don't think it's his fault at all, though. I think the team is just mediocre and they were overperforming.
yeah,
Um,
it's tough. I think a lot of times it's easy to point fingers at talent levels and stuff and coaching and this and that, but like the whole Mike Vrabel thing, like I think Vrabel's a great coach, but I think people gave him a pass because like the Titans talent level was never great. But I'm like, but that's part of the coach's job is to improve the talent and help a scout and do all this and that. And so it's like, I don't know. It's a weird situation, but
I
who
agree.
knows?
I agree. It's not always just the talent. You do have to a good coach coaches people to their strengths and wins with what they have. That's happened a lot of times before in the NFL, but there's some key players that you need to be good at least. And the Giants don't have any other than neighbors. But before, when they thought Daniel Jones was the guy besides him and Saquon, I mean, there was really nobody on that team
Yeah.
that you could say would be a difference maker.
Yep.
So I would give Dable another year, but honestly, I'm sure he'll be fine if he gets fired or
Yeah.
find another
I think it
job.
depends on the direction they take. If they draft a quarterback, make sure you have like the right coaches around him. Um, but yeah, not sure. I can run through a couple of these games because they're kind of pointless. Jags lost to the Jets 32-25. Cowboys beat the Panthers 30-14. I mean, Cowboys have been winning some games, but I think it's a little too late for them.
Yeah, that's done.
Um, the Broncos beat the Colts 31-13. I don't know
That
how the
loss against since just to talk about the Cowboys for a brief second, that loss against Cincinnati
Oh,
definitely ended their season with
oh,
that.
for
With
sure.
that was it. That was it for them.
For sure. Yeah. And then Colts Broncos, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I I don't
Deshaun
understand.
Jackson's influence, man, it
I
just
don't It's insane how many times it's happened in the NFL where a player is about to cross the goal line and he's like, you know what I should do right now? I'm gonna drop the fucking ball. I'm like,
yeah,
just
man.
hold on to it. Like, why are you dropping it in the front? Like, just
I
hold
don't
on to
know.
it.
I don't get it. I'm like, if I scored a touchdown, I mean, maybe I'm speaking from perspective of someone who doesn't score touchdowns in the NFL. If I score a touchdown, like I want to keep that ball in my hand and, hand it to someone or throw it into the crowd or like why drop it? Like what's the point? Like it's just pointless.
Yeah. So, but that happened, and then Cardinals beat the Patriots 30-17. Another kind of pointless game. Let's see. Falcons beat the Raiders 15-19. Ugly game. So ugly that Kirk Cobain's Cousins got benched for Penix Jr. That's pretty surprising.
We'll yeah, we'll talk about Kirko in a little bit.
Vikings beat the very bad Bears 30-12. What else happened? Let's
Packers
see.
Seahawks.
Yeah, Packers lost, or Packers, excuse me, Packers beat the Seahawks 30-13. Pretty convincing. The
Lions
Bucks
Bills.
Bucks beat down the Chargers 40-17. And then the much hyped game of the week was obviously Bills Lions. Bills came out on top 48-42. I mean, the Bills were actually dominating. And then Lions made it a game. They kept coming back and back and back and but hell of a game. I mean, I love Saquon and I wish he would get MVP, but I think the last two games, Josh Allen's really cemented his MVP status there. So
No doubt.
yeah,
Yeah, the Bills Lions. This game was awesome. The Lions just refuse to die whenever you think they're dead. They're always just creeping. This was a great game though. Came down. You could say that it came down to the last play because that onside kick looked like it might have been recovered by the Lions. And whether or not that was legal, what was going on, is in question. But I think that the Bills, they could beat anybody in the NFL. I really would love to see them go to the Super Bowl. I would love a Buffalo versus, Philly Super Bowl, of course, but as long as
we win.
from the AFC, as long as we win, obviously, but from the
Uh,
AFC, I don't think that I want to see anybody as bad as I want to see the Bills in that stage because Josh Allen, every year, he plays so great, minus a couple of games here and there, but this year he's just been phenomenal. He's playing out of his mind. Definitely the MVP. And talk about him more a little later. But the Bills, I think the Bills are the team to beat in the AFC. They've already beaten the Chiefs. Um, so if it wasn't for the fact that the Chiefs got some of those fluky wins, I think the Bills would be the undisputed one seed in the AFC, and it would run through Buffalo. But yeah, love to see. I can't wait to watch the Bills play football in January.
They are scary for sure, but again, I think that defense is pretty beatable. So we
Yeah,
we shall see. We shall
for
see.
sure, for sure.
But that's a wrap on week 15. Um, and then Mike, I don't know if you put together any studs and
I
duds
sure
in
did.
Tim's absence. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's hear 'em. You want to start with the duds first, the
Studs and
studs first?
duds, studs and duds. In honor of Tim, I'm doing it for you this week. I'm going to start with the duds.
Okay,
So,
respect.
the first stud that I'm going to go with here, as an organization, not even just a player, just an organization
Start off hot.
altogether, from ownership to general manager, who I did like at first, but now I'm just like, man, I don't think I like you anymore. And that's Ryan Poles, the Chicago Bears,
Yeah.
the McCaskey family. I think that
Oof.
they are just a complete dumpster fire.
Yep.
Because my issue is that I think Eberflus should have been fired last year before you bring in Caleb Williams, the number one overall pick that you invested so much in, just to fire the head coach that he's been coached under the entire first the entire rookie year, rookie season. Now you got to start over with a new coach, new system. It's almost as if he's redoing his rookie season all over again. So I don't really know that you'll take that much of a step forward again next
Yeah.
year. I mean, he could. We did think that this was going to be, they were saying that this is the best supporting cast that a rookie QB could come into because you got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, who I don't like at all
He is
because I think he's not a good team. I think he's not a good teammate.
he's not a good teammate, no.
I think that he wants to be with his butt buddy, and he should. He should go to Pittsburgh and be with and ride the bench with Justin Fields. That's the only time that he's going to see the field is on the bench or when they need to run a QB draw. I think that he needs to. I think that he's gotten better. The team has kind of embraced Caleb a little bit more
Yeah.
because the Justin Fields era is over, and you just need to get over it. And if you can't get over it, then ask for a trade, which I wouldn't be surprised if you did in the offseason.
Yeah.
But that offensive line is also awful considering that they invested in it as well. Defense, ever since that loss, like you said before, to the Commanders and that Hail Mary, they have just been on a complete spiral. They've lost every single game since then. It's looking really ugly in Chicago. I had them making the playoffs this year through the wild card. And I also thought that Caleb would at least get close to breaking the franchise record for passing yards for Chicago, which I don't even think is 4,000 yards. I think it's just below 4,000.
It's probably
And
not impressive.
I'm pretty sure Jake Cutler said it. So I figured that it was
Jake.
going to be which Jake, I love Jake. I think Jake Cutler was a dog. I think he was great.
You love Jameis Winston, so I'm not surprised you like Jay Cutler.
Yeah, yeah. I like obscure guys, man. I think that I like characters. But
For
yeah,
sure.
um, but yeah, the Chicago Bears complete dumpster fire. Second dud on the list. I got to go with my man's Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, man, he's had a terrible, terrible past 5 weeks. He's thrown I think 9 interceptions in the past 5 weeks. It could be less than that. I'm not sure, but I think two or three touchdown passes. Um, and he has lost every game. It's not a surprise that he is being benched for Michael Penix. The funny thing that I thought about before was I remember he was on Pardon My Take, talking to those guys about going to go see Wicked 5 weeks ago, and ever since he saw Wicked, he's been terrible. So for all my Wicked fans out there, it seems like
Yikes.
something has changed within Kirk. So if you get the reference, so I think you have no choice but to try to see what you have in Penix because they're fighting for the division. They're only I think one and a half games behind Tampa or one game behind Tampa, so they have a chance to win the South. I had them winning the South, but Kirk, man, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Kirk. I think that they're going to be fine. I think he can still play at a very high level. And with that big contract that he got, I'm pretty sure he's going to get one more chance unless they do something shocking in the offseason, like maybe Penix comes out and is absolutely lights out. Defense looks great. I mean, offense looks great, and they win out and win the division. Then maybe you think about maybe offloading Kirk. But I don't know if I would do that. I think you still got something with Kirk. I think he's still a great player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird situation. I mean, they're definitely underperforming and so is he, so um but who knows. I will say real quick, I looked it up. Um so the Bears the most passing yards in a season is held by Eric Kramer
Eric
in
Kramer, there you go.
1995, but Jay Cutler's right behind him at from his 2014 season, 3,800 yards. So
There you
right
go.
now, Caleb is 14th in Bears history in most passing yards in a season, which 3,000, he's almost at 3,000. So he needs like 800 more yards to break the record, which 3 games, it's doable.
He
You just
could
got to
do
ball
it. Yeah,
out.
yeah, he could do it.
What's he
Um,
averaging? He's averaging 200 yards per game, so he probably won't do it. But
no, but he could, but he won't.
sure.
He needs to get some better teammates
Damn,
at their offensive line.
Jim Harbaugh was number 10.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh
That's hilarious.
and Mitch
Oh man.
Trubisky is sixth.
All
Crazy.
right. And then the number one dud on my list. And this guy, I think he's one of the funniest guys in the NFL
Mm.
because he's so unintentionally funny. He is not trying
Yes.
to be funny at all, but that's what I think that makes him even more funny. And that's Will Levis, who got benched for
The
Mason Rudolph.
the meme master.
He got benched for Mason Rudolph for a second time. First of
Hmm.
all, getting benched for Mason Rudolph is just blasphemy. Yeah, he threw three picks in the loss. Who did they play again? Titans.
Bengals. Bengals.
Yeah, in a loss against the Bengals, he threw three picks. He's been a turnover machine this year, giving us great memes, great stuff to laugh at. Leaning into the whole weird personality and the sponsorship with Hellman's because for some reason apparently he puts mayo in his coffee. I don't think that that's true, but yeah, he's a weird guy. But he's also not very good at football. We thought that he might be because he showed some flashes. One of my favorite Will Levis plays, one of my favorite plays from last year, period, was when he intercepted the ball, hawked down the DB, and then stripped the ball from the DB to turn the ball over again. I thought that there was potential there with Will Levis. I'm pretty sure the Titans are going to turn the page on him. He is not good at football, unfortunately.
He
Uh,
it's so funny because so you've seen that Mayo commercial he's in.
yeah, it's so
So
cringe.
he has a line where he says Mayo days. And every time I'm because now obviously listening to Christmas music, there's that song where they go, "May your days be merry and bright," and I keep hearing Mayo. I'm like, "Fuck you, Will Levis!" Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's
yeah, he's
hilarious.
something. I don't know, but nobody thought he was going to be. I mean, he was a first round pick, I think.
He was a day two pick,
Oh, was he day
but
two?
early.
Okay, okay,
Everybody thought that he was going to be first round. He thought he was going to be first round, and
yeah.
his girlfriend thought he was going to be first round because you could see their faces the
Oh
entire
yeah,
time the
yeah,
first
yeah.
round
The
was going
TikTok
on.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Um, but yeah, he's done. So we go over to the stud list.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and with the Titans, I mean they've really got to figure it out this offseason because this is their second this is their second round pick QB in the past couple of years. The first one was Malik Willis, who didn't work out, and now Will Levis. So they really got to figure something out at
Yeah.
QB, and this QB class is not very good. Besides Cam Ward and Shador, um, especially now because Nussmeier is going back to LSU.
The
Um, eh,
Alabama guy, not
oh yeah, Jalen Milrow.
Jim
Yeah,
Monroe.
he's trash. He's trash. He is a running back that can throw the ball deep.
Alright.
Um, but studs. So we're gonna go ahead and start with my guy over at Cincinnati,
Mm.
who I think is very underrated, isn't getting the recognition he deserves.
Hmm.
Since Zach Moss went down, Chase Brown has been awesome. The other Brown brother. We got Sydney over here in Philly,
Yep.
but Chase Brown, he's got 4 straight weeks now with over 100 all-purpose yards. He had two touchdowns on Sunday. He has been an absolute stud for the Bengals since stepping up, since Zach Moss went down. They definitely found their RB1 with Chase Brown. He can do it all. He can catch. He runs really aggressively. He runs hard. Um,
Reminds me of
and
Eckler a little bit.
he reminds me of Eckler. I think he's a
A little
little
slower.
more, a little slower than Eckler was, like in his prime. But he can still catch really well, and that anytime touchdown has been automatic. The past couple weeks. So love Chase Brown. Um, and the second stud on my list is
Mm.
our guy,
Mm.
Vic Fangio, for
Oh,
making
okay.
this
Okay.
defense, man, top five defense
Cross
in
a lot of
DVOA.
stats.
Yeah, man, he has been as advertised. I was a little bit skeptical, especially in the first half of the season,
Yes, we
but
all were.
since the bye week, he only one team has scored over 20 points, and that was the Jacksonville Jaguars, scored 23
Crazy.
points. Yeah, crazy. But he has held every team since that at or under 20 points, including the Rams. You got the convincing win against Cincinnati, which looks a little less impressive now, but you
Eh,
dominate the Steelers and you dominate. I don't care what anybody says. He dominated Baltimore.
they did.
He held that offense, you know, to love besides that garbage time touchdown that Lamar scored.
Cooper
He really
DeJean
dominated.
is not a safety.
He's not a safety. Cooper DeJean with the dump, with
Oof.
the dump on Derrick Henry.
I could
That
watch
that's a
that. I could watch that over and over and over and over again.
yeah.
That was
I will say
amazing.
since then he has had a couple of questionable suspect rookie plays that you
Yeah.
expect to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
But I
Definitely
still
make up
feel
for it.
really excited about Cooper DeJean. But shout out to Vic, man. Vic has really turned this defense this year compared to last year. It's just night and day.
Oh yeah.
A very much needed discipline and leader in the room with Vic Fangio. And I'm so against the coaches being up in the booth. I
It's so
like my
weird.
coaches
Yeah.
down next to the team on the field. But Vic
Eh.
can do whatever he wants.
He's old. Let
He
him sit. Let him
yeah,
sit.
he can sit as long as he keeps doing what he's doing and cooking up what he's cooking here. Especially with our guy, hopefully defensive rookie of the year, Quinyon Mitchell.
He
Um,
needs some picks for
I think
sure.
that if he gets a pick or two the next couple of
He
weeks,
needs
he
a
can really
three. He needs
solidify
a
it.
three interception game with a pick six, and then he'll be cemented.
It's something light, nothing
Something like
crazy.
something like.
Oh man, and then of course the undisputed champ, the stud of the week, the stud of the year, Mr. Josh Allen. Man,
Man.
people got to put some respect on Josh Allen's name. Ever since he announced that he was engaged, he has been balling out.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy. He's
mean,
like, I got no
has
more stress. Let's fucking get it.
he has been just absolutely dominating.
Crazy.
Like his stat line this Sunday was insane, and even in the loss against the Rams, it was crazy. I have him in fantasy. Scored 45 points for me in consecutive weeks, 40 plus points in consecutive weeks to skyrocket me into the playoffs. Which I didn't really. This is the first year that I'm doing ESPN fantasy,
Okay.
and I didn't realize that each round is 2 weeks, and I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like that at
Yeah.
all
I think you can
because
change that, but I think
yeah,
my one league is like that for the championship game, but the rest of the games are, I think, just one match.
yeah, I
In
don't
a
love
sense,
that.
in a way, it makes sense because you you play like what, 16 weeks, and then like you're like, all right, down to one game, which I get, like that's also how the NFL is, but it's like that's so luck based too. Like if your player gets hurt or David Montgomery's out, that's gonna probably hurt a couple people because he's probably starting for a lot of people. But yeah, the injuries crop up and this and that. So sometimes it's nice to have the double game in hand, but
Yeah, sometimes it's
classic
nice.
is classic
I'm
is
just
the one and
I'm
done.
just saying that because I dominated this week, and I thought that I was gonna be in the play in the finals, no problem. And then I see I'm still facing the same guy, so
Yeah.
hopefully Josh can deliver a similar performance. But man, he's so much fun to watch. He plays a lot of hero ball, and a lot of the games come down to Josh Allen putting the team on his back, which
Yep.
isn't always the most sustainable thing. But I mean, 362 passing yards with two touchdowns, then 68 rushing yards with two more touchdowns, four total touchdowns on the day. I mean, come on. The guy, that scramble that he had where he delivered a 60-yard dot to Keon Coleman on the sideline to bring the ball down to like the 3 yard line
Hmm.
was just insane. I mean, there's not five people on the planet that can make that throw under that kind of circumstance. It's just insane, man. So I love watching him play football. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. He's definitely the undisputed stud of the week and the MVP in my eyes. So
Yeah.
that is your studs and duds.
All right. Well done. Round of
Thank you.
applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next, I do not have any hot overreaction ones today, but we are going to do our power rankings real quick. Um, so very happy and ecstatic to announce Eagles are your number one team on the power rankings. It took 16 weeks, but they are there and they are
Go
well
birds.
deserving. The second on our power rankings are the Buffalo Bills. The Lions dropped to number three. Chiefs at four, Vikings at number five. You
Mm,
got the Ravens at six,
okay.
Packers at seven, Steelers dropping down to eight. The Buccaneers are getting hot. They're at nine. And then the Commanders right now are number 10. We'll see what happens, Eagles and Commanders this week. But these are all playoff teams. These are all teams that at this point, the power rankings don't change too much at this point. We'll have the bottom teams sometimes swap out with new teams. But overall, I mean, like I said, Eagles playing complete ball. Like Punter's doing well. Jake Elliott, has had some hiccups here and there, but still a reliable kicker. Defense is great. Offense is great. It's hard to complain. But
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that that's a solid list. I was debating whether or not to put the to maybe include the Rams there, maybe taking a 10 spot
I
because they're
could,
heating up at the right time.
yeah, I think technically they are leading their division. I think just record based right now, I think the Commanders
Yeah,
have a better record, so
they do.
factor
Yeah,
that
yeah.
in a little bit. But yeah, definitely if the Eagles take care of business, I could see the Rams jumping back in. But
Yeah, for sure,
um,
man. I still think that Matt Stafford is the best or, top three at least at worst, top two QB in the NFC for sure. Um,
he's still
he
balling.
is
He's still balling.
he's still playing at a very, very high level at his big age. And I love the plays when he just tucks it and runs. Like it's just like at his age, he doesn't want to take the hit, man,
Oh
but
no,
he puts his body on the line and he makes a play when he needs to. I love
yeah,
to see that from your QB. So
he's a
shout
gamer.
out to Matt, man. He's a
He
gamer.
is a gamer. Um, all right. And then getting to our game picks. So, of course, every week that I decide I don't want to do a parlay of money line bets, I do
Don't
fucking
do it.
phenomenal. So I went 15-1, which is
Wow.
fucking crazy.
That's crazy, man.
The only game I got wrong, I picked the Panthers to win, and they barely lost to the Jets. So I almost went 16-0, which would have been cool. But
That would have been awesome. Wow. That's awesome.
um, yeah, so 15-1. Tim went 12-4, and our guest, Bede, he went 11-5. So right now, I've reclaimed the lead, 144-79. Tim is second, 141-82, and our guest picks close behind, 139-84. So these next couple of weeks are pretty big for our game pick standings. I think Tim beat me last year by like a game or two, so I got to get my revenge and take the crown. But starting
Yeah.
off, we have Thursday night football is very very important divisional game, but I don't know if I
Yeah.
even watch this. Broncos at the Chargers. These teams shouldn't be good this year, but they both are. So, but Mike, I'll let you take this one first. Who you feeling?
I like the Broncos in this matchup. I love Bo Nix. I'm a Bo lever. I
A
love
bowl leaper.
I'm a Bo lever. I love Bo Nix. I think that if he has a solid close, he's making a really good case for Rookie of the Year because Jaden, due to the injury, unfortunate, he was having some
Yeah,
off games. But I think that if Bo has a strong finish, puts up some strong numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins Rookie of the Year because him and Jaden's numbers are very similar. I think Jaden has a little bit better numbers, and then you factor in the fact that he's a dual threat quarterback. Jaden has a couple more rushing touchdowns, so total touchdowns is higher. But Bo can also cut and run, man. He could tuck it and run. I love watching him play football. I think that he delivers, a beautiful deep ball, and that's probably because he's been playing football for longer than your average rookie QB. I mean, what is he, 26 or 25? I'm not sure.
something like
Oh,
that.
Knicks. Yeah, but he's been around. I saw he's 24.
Oh, Bo Nix?
But
No, he's a rookie. He's probably like
yeah, he's a rookie,
23, 24.
but he actually played against Justin Herbert in college.
Oh,
It was when he was at Auburn, he played Oregon. So today will be kind of like a revenge game, a potential revenge game for him.
hmm.
But I do like Bo Nix. I think that he's honestly the perfect QB for Sean Payton and what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Um, for sure. I'm not saying that he's Drew Brees 2.0,
No.
but I'm picking the Broncos here to win against the Chargers. Close because they're at home, and the Chargers defense is very good. But I'll take the Broncos here.
I appreciate the analysis, but I'm not going to go that deep into it. I'm picking the Chargers.
Okay, there we go.
Next games, we have two Saturday games. Interesting. We have the Texans at the Chiefs. Hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know if, well, you said Mahomes has been practicing, but
yeah.
I think either way, Chiefs find a way to win and take care of it because Like I said, I don't think the Texans will be all that impressive, so I'm taking KC.
Yeah, I'm taking the Texans.
Oh, okay.
I think the Texans going to Arrowhead, handle business on a Kaimi Fairbairn. It comes down to a Kaimi Fairbairn field goal
You just want to say his name.
for the it's an awesome name for the Texans to win it and improve to 10-5, I think it is. And I think it's
Okay.
kind of BS the Chiefs have to play again on Christmas Day after playing
Yes.
Saturday.
They play like twice in like 10 days or something crazy.
It's three games in 11
A
days.
three
It's
game. Yeah,
insane.
that's fucking nuts.
That's crazy.
But whatever. Um, then the last Saturday game is Steelers at the Ravens. Could very well
Oof.
be division changing because if the Steelers win, they have a commanding lead. If the
Yeah.
Ravens win, I think they're tied. So
Yeah, give me the Ravens. No analysis here. They're
yeah,
coming into Baltimore. Like they don't have. I think that they're going to be without Pickens again. Yeah,
yeah,
give me the
I think
Ravens.
this is where the Steelers kind of fall apart a little bit, and
Come back to earth.
Ravens claim that division. So
Yeah,
I'll take the Ravens. Giants at the Falcons. Like I said, I think even though Penix is starting, I don't know if it's going to go well. I don't think the Giants are planning to win, so I'll take the Falcons.
yeah. I'll pick the Falcons. I like Michael Penix. I think he's going to ball out against a very bad Giants secondary, though he might be under a lot of pressure. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is an ugly game.
Next game, Lions at the Bears.
Mm. My heart says Bears because I want them to lose a game for the
Yeah,
Eagles,
yeah,
but the Lions are
no,
going to steamroll these guys.
yeah, we gotta be real with it.
But I mean, they are playing in Chicago outdoors, so you
Well,
know
maybe yeah, you might be onto something. We'll see. I'd
we'll see
love
the
for the
weather.
Bears to shock them, but
That'd be awesome.
um, Cardinals at oh, I'm gonna take the Lions too. Cardinals at the Panthers. I'm feeling Arizona, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it either way, but take take the Cards.
Yeah, I'll take the Cards here. I don't think that it's they're under a lot of pressure to try to regain that division. So close game. I think it's going to be a close game. I hate this jersey matchup, by the way. Red and blue. Don't like it.
I wish if they did a color rush and it was just like all the Panthers like baby blue versus the Cardinals all red.
Yeah, no.
That was like the Jets and Bills did. Jets had all green and the Bills did all red for Christmas game, I think. That was
Yeah.
kind of cool though.
It's candy
But
ass colors.
yeah, but I missed Color Rush. That was a fun time.
Yeah.
Um, Rams at the Jets. I'm gonna write down Rams for you. I'm taking the Rams. I mean,
Yeah, bro, come on.
okay.
Aaron Rodgers, he's been looking. I
He's
don't know why he's
ass.
playing
He's
so well
fucking
right now.
washed. He's fucking garbage.
Yeah, but
Um,
Rams.
Eagles at the Commanders.
Oof, Eagles.
Go Birds, baby.
Come on,
Flag will
man.
fly.
Yeah,
Browns at the Bengals. Brian and the Bengals, man. They gotta win.
Bengals for sure. I think that I picked up the Bengals defense in fantasy. Two pick sixes. Let's go, DTR.
Got a solid toilet bowl game here. Titans at the Colts.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I would wish was on TV in July because I miss football so much. But yeah, I'm not watching a single snap of this game, honestly. I don't even know who to pick here. Colts, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Colts as well. It's
Anthony
dark
Richardson
horse.
still starting?
Who knows?
Yeah,
I think so.
Colts. Whatever.
Um, Vikings at the Seahawks. Hmm.
This is a tough one.
Now the Seahawks haven't been looking great lately.
Is Gino playing? Do you know?
Oh yeah, that's right. He got hurt. I don't know,
Let me look it
but
up.
Minnesota's been also playing really well. So that's
At defense.
I'd like to give Seattle a nod because they're in Seattle, but
Oh yeah, I think he's playing. He fully practiced today. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle. Only because I really want the Vikings to also lose another one. Um, so yeah, because there is a scenario where the Vikings get the one seed, and no one wants that. So
I think the Vikings are a really good team, but I think they are.
Overperforming.
Overperforming. So I'm kind of with you. In Seattle in December, give me the Seahawks. Um,
Oh,
Patriots at the Bills.
it's gonna be an ugly game for the Patriots.
I could low key see this being an upset.
Since I would fight you on this, but it is the first time that they're facing each other this season because
Yeah.
they're facing each other two times the last 3 weeks.
hmm
So I'm still gonna pick the Bills, but I think it's not gonna be. It might not be super high scoring.
If this
Like,
was if this was the beginning of the season, I would pick the Bills. I mean, I'd pick the Patriots to upset them, but I have a lead and I'm not trying to jeopardize that lead. So I'm taking the Bills. I'm gonna play it safe.
yeah, give me the Bills. I'd probably consider taking the under for anybody who's betting
And then
this weekend.
Toilet Bowl game number two, we have the Jaguars at the Raiders. Oh boy. I'm taking the
Mm.
Jags. At least they've shown a little more life.
Uh, I think Aiden O'Connell is playing this weekend.
Fuck cares.
Potential. If I mean, if Aiden O'Connell plays, I could see this being yeah,
Shootout.
Aiden O'Connell. Yeah. Give me the Raiders.
Okay.
Jaguars are dog shit.
Shout out dog shit. Um, shout out Prince, your dog.
My boy.
Um, and then Sunday, still in the afternoon games, we have 49ers at the Dolphins. I mean, Dolphins lose this game, their season's over. 49ers lose this game, their season's over. So I think the 49ers need it more. Take them.
Yeah, I'm going with the Niners here. Not much to say. I think Dolphins are garbage.
Yeah. Um, God damn it, NFL keeps putting the Cowboys on fucking prime time. Buccaneers at the
Yep.
Cowboys, Sunday Night Football.
I don't
Go
know why this
Tampa.
wasn't flexed. They should have flexed. They should have made the Seahawks game prime time, low
I
key.
would have rather watched Jaguars and Raiders and fucking
No, I don't
television.
think
I'm
anybody
just
would
kidding.
watch that. It's like two girls, one cup bad.
Hey, yo.
Um, but Buccaneers, Cowboys. I like the Buccaneers, obviously. But yeah, give me the Bucks.
All right, yeah. Taking the Bucks. And then Monday night, thankfully we only have one game. I hate when they do that double game bullshit.
Yep.
Saints at the Packers. I think the Saints are not a great team. So Packers are a playoff contender. I'm taking Pack.
Yeah. Go Pack, go in Lambeau. Yeah, I think the Packers roll the Saints, even though the Saints are a little frisky,
They
you
are
know. But
frisky.
I'm pretty sure Kamara might not play. So,
Oh, he better. I need him for fantasy football.
oh, I don't. I'm going against him, so I would
Hmm.
like him to not play.
Is he really? Hold on. No, now I'm worried. Let's check. Check what the apps are
Yeah,
saying.
I think that he was
He's questionable.
questionable. He's nursing an abductor injury.
I love that my only two healthy running backs are both questionable. Fuck yeah. Joe Mixon
Yeah,
and Kamara.
yeah. I got Gibbs, so hopefully he just goes off.
And Zach Charbonnet is also questionable, but I think Kenneth Walker's coming back.
Yeah,
And Breece
yeah,
Hall is kind of being like shut down because the season's over. So I don't know what to do.
yeah.
Anyways, so
I'm
that
with you.
is week 15 and week 16 pick, or week 15 wrapped up, week 16 picks, studs and duds, power rankings, all the fun stuff.
Yes, sir.
We may have an episode before Christmas, we may not. If we don't, wishing everybody Merry Christmas or Happy Kwanzaa or Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Yeah, let's put it that way. And
Yeah.
we'll watch the Eagles hopefully take a victory in the DMV. So
Yes, sir. Go Birds. Thank you guys. Thank you for having me, as always. I'm always
yeah.
very happy to come on and talk ball with you. And go Birds, man.
All right. Appreciate you having on, Mike, and peace out.
Peace out.